Okay, let's talk about some cool drug facts you might not know. Number 3. Opioids and amphetamines used to be used to treat depression. And in the short term, they were excellent antidepressants, but in the long term, they caused dependence and addiction, as well as a myriad of other unpleasant side effects. So they were eventually abandoned for this purpose. Oh, and on the topic of antidepressants, most antidepressants seem to converge in their effects on the brain at one biological target, known as brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which promotes the growth and survival of neurons, and thereby increases neuronal plasticity. Various seemingly unrelated drugs, such as fluvoxamine and dextromethorphan, are high-affinity agonists of the sigma-1 receptor. Now, the interesting thing is that we have little idea as to what this receptor does, despite the fact that some common drugs agonize this receptor at affinities that are higher than their main biological targets. Astronauts are actually psychonauts. Well, kind of. There have been multiple drugs specifically designed for astronauts to help them deal with the stresses of spaceflight. Even to this day, astronauts on the space station have access to modafinil, an atypical wakefulness stimulant, as well as sleeping drugs and other neuroactive compounds. There is some debate as to if such drugs should be available to high-performance workers, such as rescue, military, and medical personnel, and I talked about this in a previous video if you're interested. Now, this somewhat relates to our next fact, which is that amphetamines have been used to motivate warfare for over half a century. You may have heard that Nazi soldiers were given methamphetamine during World War II, but did you know that amphetamine was also used by the Allies during World War II? In fact, it was used as a go pill in the US Air Force until around the early 2000s. It is also used today by radical extremist groups, such as by ISIS in the form of Captagon, which is theophylline, a caffeine derivative bound to amphetamine, where it presumably improves motivation and vigilance of these fighters. I have no transition for that, so let's just talk about GHB. GHB is the only sleep drug that I know of that is capable of producing high-quality sleep that is indistinguishable from normal human sleep architecture, and does so even when sleep pressure is very low. Oh, here's another completely unrelated fact. Monoamine oxidase inhibitors, which are used today in depression and Parkinsonism, were actually discovered serendipitously when the tuberculosis drug ipronizid was found to improve the mood of depressed patients. Let me know what you guys want me to talk about next, and stay safe and do your research.